So we're going to go through some checks before we take off, Tony. The acronym I use is CB-SIFT CBE. So the first C is for control, so I need 4 and 3 control movement, which I've got. You keep your hands and legs where they are. Probably best just to hold across your straps when we're doing the takeoff. Yep. Ballast, we already discussed ballast within the limits of the aircraft. Straps, your straps nice and secure, as are mine. Instruments, yours are okay, mine are okay. Flaps, we don't have any. Trim, set neutral. Brakes are closed and locked. Okay, I'm going to bring the canopy down now. So canopy's coming down, canopy is closed, locked, resists upward movement, brakes are closed and locked. You see that DV panel on your left? That panel, you can slide that shut. Yeah. Just be noisy, and if you want to open it again when we're airborne, if you pull the back knob inwards towards you, and then slide it backwards, alright? But it'll be noisy for the ground, okay? So eventualities, if the tug, after we take up slack and start rolling, if I drop a wing and I can't pick it up with the aileron, I'll release and we'll just roll to a stop and do it again. If the tug has issues further down the field, we'll release and land ahead if we can, otherwise we'll be calling fields as we go. Okay, right, cable on please, Rupert. Just do a quick release check for me, please. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cable on. Okay. Right, Tony. We don't have any suspension, so it'll be a bit bumpy. I'm going to start with the stick all the way back because I've got to try and get it up and balanced on the main wheel. Yeah. And then we'll be picking up speed behind the tug. Once we get to about 35, 36, approaching 40 knots, we'll gently lift off and we'll stay level behind the tug while he picks up enough speed that he needs to take off, and then we'll follow him all the way up to 2,000 feet.
No problem.
So cable's coming tight. Start to creep forward, and then he'll open the taps and off we go, and Rupert's going to keep our wings level while we don't have any airflow. There we go, now under control. So nose is coming up, there we are, balanced on the main wheel, and picking up speed, and we're airborne, there we go. So now my job is just to stay about level with his tailplane, let him get the speed he needs. There he goes, he's off. Just stay down behind him. And we'll do a right turn and start climbing out over the road there to the right. Was that alright?
Yeah, a lot smoother than I thought.
Yeah, Twiggy's a pretty good tug pilot. We'll give him all the credit for that one. So one thing that is important while we're flying, and I could talk about this while we're on tow, is lookout, okay? We don't have advanced radar systems like commercial aircraft, so we use our eyes to spot threats, and you can help me with this actually. So what I'd like you to do is just scan the field of view, looking above and below the horizon from time to time, and if you see another aircraft, let me know, and I'll do the same for you, alright? If you spot an aircraft before me, then I will buy you a cup of tea when we get back. So about 800 feet. I can already feel that the air is kind of thermic because the tug's being blown around a little bit.
Is there another airfield over there?
Yeah, that's Western on the green.
Alright, no, because I've seen one dropping.
Yeah. Okay, that's Western on the green. So there is a gliding club there as well, but they only operate at the weekends. And otherwise it's run by the RAF, and they do parachute dropping there. And there's actually an airfield right in front of us as well. That's Hayford. The US Air Force used to run that, and they used to fly F-111s out of there during the 90s. In fact, I think it was closed in about 94, 95.
Is that listening section?
Hey?
Is that listening section?
Yeah, that's it. That's Crowton. So can you see where the airfield is right now? Our airfield. Keep having a look around and see if you can find it. I'll give you a clue. It's out to our right. No, further round to the right than that. Just off of our wingtip now.
Oh yeah.
See it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Right, so we're coming up to release height. So we're going to have a clunk. 3, 2, 1, and we go. So I just slow down to separate us from the tug. Yep. There he goes. So I'm just going to trim us back to about 45 knots. I'm just going to circle us here gently. As there's a little bit of lift here. Feel that? That's it.
It's a lot smoother than I thought it would be.
That's the energy, and it's just pushing up on the right wing.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to start a gentle turn to the right.
He don't know anything about getting down, does he?
No, no. Once he closes the power. So you can just feel that gentle push underneath the glider.
Yeah.
And that's just the rising air, just pushing us gently. There you go, you see where he is now, down there? Yeah. I'm just going to fly along under these clouds a little bit. We've actually gained about 200 feet since we released.
Alright.
If you want to open your window again, feel free. Yeah. There's a glider coming up the winch, look, see it?
Yeah. Like toy planes when they go up like that.
That's right. There he is, he's just landed. Well, we got quite a lot of freedom. What I'm doing right now is I'm just exploring these clouds, just to see if I can find where the lift is. little bit. There we go. Yeah.
What are they?
What are they?
Yeah.
They're actually, what they do is they tell us if we're flying in a straight line or not.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah, they just they tell us if we're, if we're going around in a straight line. If we're not flying straight and level,
Yeah.
then yeah, we actually are less efficient. The air's being a little bit funny this morning. Yeah. How you feeling, alright?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah, if you keep when we're circling, if you keep your eyes up on the horizon,
Yeah.
and then that generally helps. Staring at the ground doesn't really give you a lot of information. So yeah, it's the old US Air Base up there.
Oh,
And then yeah, that's the listening station we were talking about, just coming around off the nose.
Yeah.
And then you've got Brackley, Buckingham just off the nose now,
Yeah.
and Silverstone beyond that.
All right. I didn't realise how flat the area is.
Yeah, it's until you get down to sort of London way, where you got the Chilterns, that's it. Yeah, that's a nice little push underneath. You see where the airfield is?
Yeah, straight
Yeah,
down.
that's it, good. Are you filming?
It's going, yeah.
Yeah, good.
I don't know how much battery's left.
So we're climbing between sort of 200 and 300 feet a minute
Yeah.
right now. How easy is it for you to change that device onto the hand?
I haven't got, it's the first time.
Okay. I was going to say, because if you want to have a go, it's generally you fly with the right hand on the stick.
All right.
So it's probably getting in the way a little bit. But
No, I'm fine. I'm just enjoying this.
yeah, cool. But I'll climb this up as we're going up a lift. We've dropped under 2,000 feet and we've just gone back up through 2,000 feet again. So I'll, stick your left hand outside,
Yep.
you can get like scoop the air in, that's it, yeah. Fly towards these clouds in front of us, back over towards the airfield. You can feel as we cruise along, you can feel the different energy in the air with the lift. Yeah,
It's like a bump behind you.
that's it, and it's get a little surge in energy. It's that same sort of feeling you get going up in a lift.
Yeah.
So you notice how much ground is in view over your instrument panel?
Yeah.
That's our kind of normal gliding attitude. You know, we're gliding along at about 45 knots.
Yeah.
So generally I use a lot of you know, visual cues rather than looking at the instrumentation. You feeling alright?
Yeah.
Good, good. So if you put your right hand on the stick for me, just hold it gently. So you see that normal gliding attitude out the front I was talking about? If I ease the stick forward, look, nose goes down, more ground in view, and we start to speed up. If I ease the stick backwards, nose comes up, less ground in view, and we start to slow down.
Very little.
You know? Yeah, very little bit. And if I keep the nose there, that high attitude, eventually the glider will drop its nose on its own. Look, I have to ease forward on the stick to recover.
So it's like a stall.
That is a stall, yeah. That's exactly what that is, yeah. So if you just keep your hand gently on the stick, you'll feel, you know, just what I'm doing to fly the glider.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
You got Bicester Village on the other side of town there ahead now.
Very subtle movement.
Yeah, it is very subtle movements, that's right. And I'm just searching for lift, and when I feel it, you know, I feel it start to pick up energy in the glider, like that, and then actually we'll start to circle in it.
Alright.
Sample it, kind of see what it's doing. There you go, it feels a bit rocky, a bit bumpy. I can move on to the next one. It's the airfield right down there. You know I was talking about the rudder doesn't turn the glider. Well, see if you rest your feet on the pedals, we're flying in a dead straight line now, okay? So if I keep the wings level, if I use the rudder, all it does is swing the nose around. It doesn't actually turn the glider.
Just moves on that
That's it. But I use it to help coordinate the turns. Because if I do nothing with the rudder when I move the stick, watch which way the nose goes when I turn to the right. See how it swings left first? It's uncoordinated. So we use the rudder and the stick together. So I'm just looking for any lift underneath this patch of cloud. Okay, brakes are closing up. Let's bring the canopy down. Canopy is closed, lock, resist up movement. Brakes are closed, lock, resist upward movement. Okay, eventualities if I drop a wing and can't pick it up with the aileron. then I'll let go and we'll go forward. If the tug has an issue, we'll release and land at the field. Otherwise, we'll be calling fields as we go. Cable on then, please, Basil. Close. If you want to slide your window shut, Peter, just to your left there.
Should I?
If you want it open when we're up there, you pull on the back bit. That one, if you pull it in towards you, that's it, slightly back. It'll just be noisy when we take off it.
Got it. Do you recommend have it closed? Or?
Yeah, while we're on the aerotow, certainly. Good.
Do I put my feet on the pedals?
No, leave them flat on the floor right now.
Okay.
Yeah, hands and feet clear of the controls.
Okay, there's a cable up there.
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay, cable's coming tight.
All right.
Here we go. So we're just going to follow him now.
Yep.
Round the end of the hangar. So we'll be in the field across the road from here.
Yeah.
And from this altitude I can get us back on the airfield.
So this is on Mister.
Yeah.
How long does it take to 4,000 feet?
10 minutes or so? Yeah, about 10 minutes. So you remember your instructor talking about lookout the last time? Same job this time, yeah? You can help me with the lookout.
Okay.
Scan the horizon periodically, looking above and below. If you see another aircraft, tell me, and I will do the same. This one's to 4,000. Probably be higher than the cloud base, to be honest with you.
Okay. Looks like it.
Yeah.
2,000 feet now. Though.
Just coming up to you.
Yeah. The thermals are below these clouds, right?
Yeah, that's right. So you've got this line of energy ahead of us. Look. You see if you look.
Play.
Yeah. Good spot. Yeah. See him. Yeah, so Terry's flying us along this line of energy. Help us climb quicker. It's an old US military airbase. They used to fly F-111s out of there during the 90s.
Got it.
And I think they shut it down in about 94, 95, something like that.
And all these cars?
Yeah, they are all like Audi and BMW. My brother works there actually.
Got it.
That's where they store all the vehicles until they're shipped off to the garages.
Got it.
Can you see where the airfield is, Peter?
What now?
It's down at your 11 or 12 o'clock, just underneath the tug now, look. Right underneath the tug, over your nose.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
Right, let's get rid of the tug here. There we go. The cloud base is about 4,000.
And they're just on the run.
There it goes. So how much flying did you do last time?
I'll just do usual, I don't know, 5 minutes. But
Yeah.
they gave me a couple minutes, I guess.
Do you remember how to do it?
No, tell me again. Tell me again.
Okay, let's head over this way. Just having a look around for the gliders. Apparently there's another one ahead. There is. See down 2 o'clock? Look down 2 o'clock to our right.
Yeah.
See him turning just there?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Right, so right hand on the stick then.
Yep.
So if you look out over the nose,
Yeah.
okay, you see our wings are level now. The
Yes.
horizon is nice and straight.
Yes.
Yeah. If the wings aren't level, horizon looks like that.
Yeah.
And horizon looks like that.
Right.
Yeah. So wings straight, and you see how much ground is in view
Yes.
and over your horizon. That's our normal gliding attitude. We're going along at about 45 knots with that much ground in view.
Yeah.
If I want to speed up, I ease the stick forward, nose goes down, we've got more ground in view and the glider accelerates. If I want to slow down, then I ease the stick backwards, nose comes up, less ground in view and the glider decelerates. Now the glider will continue to decelerate if I hold the nose there,
Yeah.
until eventually the nose drops on its own. Look, there it goes. And I need to ease forward on the stick to recover,
Yeah.
and then bring the nose back to our normal gliding attitude. That's actually a stall when the glider does that, runs out of speed, alright? So you have control of the glider then. So fly us along at our normal attitude. Try and keep the wings level with left and right stick. There you go. A little bit more ground in view. You want, that's it. About there, that's good. A bit more. About there, that's it. Good stuff. So if you ease the stick forward to speed us up. So there we go, about there. Just a little bit of left stick to bring the wings level, that's it. There you go. That's perfect, just fly us along that. You'll notice, if you look ahead, you'll notice that if the wings aren't level, we'll actually be slowly turning. Look, so if the wings are slightly this way,
Yeah.
watch the glider. See how the glider's turning? And it's the same with the other direction.
Sure.
Yeah. So if you see that big white building out directly over the nose right now,
Yeah.
yeah, keep us flying towards that in about 45 knots. That's it, that's good. Pick up the wing, there you go. So just keep us trying to fly to it. Now the thermals are going to try and throw you out. There's a glider to our right, look. See him coming over the top of us? So right round to our right behind us, look. There he is.
Yes.
That's it.
It's very close.
Yeah. So nose down a little bit because we're a bit slow. There you go. You got it. So nice. I'm just going to cover the stick with you, right? So we're just there, yeah?
Yep.
So just nice and gentle. If the glider starts to wander, just very gentle movements on the stick.
And back.
Yeah, and then back again to bring the wings level. That's it. Yeah. Good. So if we're going to do a turn, so we'll do a turn to the right. Okay. So look round to the right first. Right. No one there. Back over the nose. Move the stick to the right. Right wing goes round. Centralise the column. That's it. You got it. There you go. Right. So let's try that again. So fly straight, nice level, straight and level.
Go back.
So you're pushing on the pedal. One of your foot is pushing on the pedals.
Yeah.
Just relax your legs.
Yeah.
There you go. Keep the glider flying nice and straight. So look to the right. No one there. Look back over the nose. Move the stick to the right. Not too much. And centralise the column there. That's it. And just hold the attitude with the nose to the back. So there you go. Right. Keep your hand on the stick. I'm flying a second. Going to take us back under this energy.
Where's the thermal now?
Over here, under this dark bit of the cloud.
Here.
So ahead of us, so we're going down at about 200 feet a minute now. So I'm going to fly us back underneath this thermal.
Good up,
yeah. See the glider ahead of us climbing? Higher than us?
Want to go back?
Yeah, so that's where we're going to.
Cool.
So you'll see the needle starts to move closer to zero. There you go. You feel the energy underneath the glider.
Yeah.
That's it. We just counteract what the air's doing with the stick, because the thermal, around the outside of the thermal, there's actually turbulence, and it's going to try and move the glider around.
So we'll be equalising.
Yeah, that's it. So we're just counteracting that. So
it's really short moves.
Yeah. So it's just nice and smooth with the stick. It's all about texture and being smooth with the control. So there comes the lift.
That's what I'm feeling now.
Yeah, there you go. So the lift starts to increase. You'll feel the surge underneath the glider.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Feel it start rising up. So look to the right, no one there. Start to ease the stick to the right into the core of the thermal. I'm keeping the nose of the glider.
The thermal is kind of here.
Yeah, that's it, inside the bubble. That's it. There you go. So we're just going to fly a circle round.
Fantastic.
Just keep your hand on the stick, follow me through. There you go. You see now we're going up at 200-300 feet a minute. Look at the needle on your vario. See, it's between the 2 and the 4. Middle instrument.
Yes,
that's it. So we're going up at 300 feet a minute.
Yeah.
That's it. So we just circle around like a bird.
Fantastic.
Nearly 400 feet a minute now.
Is that very fast?
It's pretty quick, yeah. So it just fluctuates the power of the thermal.
And with your feet you are kind of helping with the turn, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm coordinating. So what we'll do is we'll climb back up. I've noticed that the thermal's a little bit more powerful on this side.
Do you want to stay in it, or?
Yeah, so I'm just going to try and stay in it a little bit. Keep us climbing back.
How wide are they usually, these thermals?
Usually about 80 to 100 meters.
Okay, so it's thin.
Yeah. So our turn at 40 knots is about 60 meters, 70 meters. So it's easy for us to stay inside. We just have to stay slow enough with the correct angle of bank to keep us going around inside the core of the thermal.
So
that's it. If you're going too fast, or you're not turning tight enough, you'll just fall out the side of the thermal. That's it, yeah. So I'm just going to open up the turn slightly, because just to feel where the air is a little bit more powerful.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So we can just fly down this line of energy. And you can see as we go along in sort of a straight line, the needle should remain above zero.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole line of energy just here.
That's just like
that's it, yeah. But you see how gentle I'm being with the controls?
Very gentle,
Glider flying right towards us, you see him? Just there, look.
Yeah. Very fast.
So he was hidden from my view behind your head.
Sorry.
That's alright, you can't help it.
Have seen him first.
No. It was that kind of shaped glider is very difficult to see.
Very
so when I saw the indicator on my flarm and it wasn't moving.
Was that the red thing?
Yeah. Well, it was green at first, so I started to do a gentle turn to the left, you know, to try and get a view of him. And I didn't turn far enough, so it started to flash red. So, And as soon as I started that left turn, I could see him. So there's not very much sink here. You feel that?
Yeah. And I can see it's 0.
Yeah. So we're actually not losing any altitude right now. So if we go across this gap to this dark cloud over here, you still got your hand on the stick?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So I'm just having a look ahead underneath this cloud. So just try and keep the wings level and keep us flying straight ahead. You have control?
I have control.
Yeah. That's it, you got it. Just very subtle, gentle movements to keep the wings nice and level. So the air is going to try and move you around. So you keep the wings level. You're doing a good job. That's it. Keep us going. Feel that?
Yeah.
So your left wing's getting pushed up. So you're going to start a turn to the left. So have a look left. That's it. Move the stick to the left.
To the left.
Yeah. There you go, straighten the stick, that's it. Just stop the nose from dropping.
Right out the nose.
Yeah, you got it, that's it. There you go, keep us coming around. Keep the stick going to the left. You're in the thermal just then. Centralised there. That's it, just hold it centralised. And you want the glide, that's it, keep us coming around. There you go, good, that's it, we're in lift. Nicely done. Keep the nose up a little bit with it, there you go, that's it, you got it. Good, we're climbing at 5 knots, keep us coming around. Keep us coming around, that's it. You're doing great, doing good job. Good. That's it, try and keep that angle of bank there. That's it, yeah, he's no threat to us. See how we've come out of the turn?
Yeah.
So you want to go back into the turn. That's it, there you go. And centralise the stick there. That's it, keep us coming around. So I'm just going to follow you on the controls. So we have the stick in the middle. What I don't want to do, I'm just using the stick. I don't want the bank to steepen. And I don't want it to shallow out, so I'm just keeping that nice balance, and I keep the nose of the glider up to keep us flying at 45 knots. That's good, we're going up at 5, 6 knots, that's brilliant. Let's nose up a little bit, keep us coming around, that's it, good. We're going up like a rocket.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, yeah. That's it, keep us there, good job, well done. Keep us coming around, that's it. Nice, keep that turn coming. That's good. Feel it?
Yeah.
That's it, that's the surge, that's it. So, keep us coming around. That angular bank's really quite nice. Doing a good job there. My hands are completely off the controls, so this is all you. No, you're doing great. So your job is just to keep that angle of bank and keep that speed at about 40 knots. Not too high on the nose, because otherwise we'll stall. That's it, you go. Keep the bank going. That's it, there you go. That's it, keep us coming around. Keep us coming. Woo! Keep us coming, that's it. Down to the left if you can a little bit. That's it, centralised there. You're doing great. Nearly up to 4,000 feet in cloud base. Keep going. This is all you, Soaring, Peter, by the way.
Fantastic.
You're climbing us.
Oh,
yeah, not quite yet. We've still got a little bit to go. Keep going round. Do one more turn back towards the town. That's it. Good job, well done. Right, see this big black cloud off to our left?
yes.
That's where we're going to fly to, that one over there. So keep us coming round and aim us towards that big cloud over there. That's it. Relax your legs.
Yeah.
There you go. Start leveling us off here. Have a good look. There you go, there you go. Good stuff. Right. Nose down just a touch. There you go. That's it. Gently on the stick. Nice and gentle. There you go. Right, good stuff. Well done.
Right, relax your legs. Just wiggle them side to side to relax them.
Yeah.
You know, that's good. There you go.
Yeah.
What you do, every student does the same when they learn to fly.
Cramp
They
up a bit
stiff
now.
up on the legs,
Yeah,
and then it makes it the coordination of the glider. Not very clean. So, if I use the rudder, doesn't actually turn the glider. Okay. If we're flying straight and level, and I keep the wings nice and level, all the rudder does is yaw the glider, swings it to the side. Yeah.
Yeah. While horizontal.
That's it. So what I'll do is I'll turn us round, go back towards the lift under the cloud there. Keep your legs on the pedals.
Yes.
And just put your hand gently on the stick.
Yes.
Just feel what I'm doing.
Yes.
And I'll show you, I'm just going to demonstrate something to you.
Okay.
So you see the town out in front over the nose? You see the town with the white buildings?
Yes.
About 10 kilometers away, that's it. Now, if I go to turn to the left or the right and I don't use the rudder pedal, I'm going to go to the right. Which way does the nose go?
Left.
Exactly. So if I'm going to turn to the left without using the rudder, which way does the nose go?
Right.
Exactly. That's called adverse yaw.
Yeah.
And that's an uncoordinated turn. So if I'm going to turn to the right now, I'm going to use stick and rudder together. Ready? So stick and rudder, and to the left.
How much nicer, yeah.
See how the nose stays still?
Yes.
And that's how we do coordinated turns. The glider just down below us at 2 o'clock. You see him?
Another one, too.
Yeah.
One here, one there.
Yeah.
Both below.
That's it. So he's climbing in that thermal underneath the cloud.
Yeah.
So the way we do it when you're actually flying gliders like that is we'd be flying much faster. Okay, so I'd be cruising along, 60 knots. Yeah, I see him. And I'm actually going to pull into the thermal with him. So I pull in above. There you go, and you see the lift? And then I crank it in. And then slow us down. Yeah. Yeah. There we go, about 40 knots. That's it. Going up at 4 knots.
There's 3 below us.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the idea. So when you're flying across country, you cruise between the thermals, and sometimes you can see another glider marking the thermal for you. And that's it. You just go enjoy them. And the idea is you don't fly straight at it because you don't want to frighten him.
Yeah.
You know, and you want to know that he's seen you and you've seen him.
Yeah.
So you go off to one side, and then you kind of curl in on the thermal to kind of see how he's opposite us.
Yeah.
That's the perfect place to be.
So you'll be close to each other, right?
That's it. So he can see me, I can see him. We're opposite sides of the thermal, and we can keep each other in sight at all times.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how we ride the thermal. If he disappears behind me or underneath me, you know, and we can't see each other, then generally I would leave the thermal at that point and maybe rejoin. You know,
But you can see him.
yeah, so we can see each other. That's where the risk of collision goes up.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So once you climb up in a thermal, exiting a thermal, so you kind of slow the glider down, pick which direction you're going to be going in. So we're going to be going towards that big black cloud over there.
There's a plane over there.
Yeah, I've got it.
Cool.
So we're going to head out. So this is the direction I'm going to go. Level off, use the lift that we still have to pick up speed.
Yeah. Go down there.
That's it. And then exit the thermal, still in lift look at cruising speed.
Yeah.
So we're now cruising at 55 and we exit out. We go through the sink, which is the downgoing air on the outside of the thermal, and then we cruise. That's it.
Beautiful.
Easy as that.
Can we fly through the cloud?
Can we go through the cloud?
We don't want to really, right?
Well, we shouldn't go right. I don't know how thick that one is, but we can play with it. I don't think there's any other glider. Let's have a look. Right, relax your legs, relax your hands.
Yeah, relax.
Yeah. There you go.
It's beautiful.
How cool is that?
It's super cool.
And that's what got me hooked on my first trial lesson, is skimming through cloud like that. Yeah. You can feel the energy though in the cloud.
Yes, yes.
There goes lift there. Slow up. Go on. There's a glider to our left, so we can head over and have a look at the energy. You can see the dark spots on the underneath of the clouds.
Yes.
Those are marking kind of where the thermal core is.
On the cloud itself.
Yeah, so you can see the dark spots ahead, and this one in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we fly towards that,
You should get a lift, yeah.
yeah. So you have control then.
I have control.
Yeah, that's it. So you're going to be flying along about 45 knots.
Just keep it, yeah.
Yeah, and you see just about 5 degrees to the right, there's this dark bottom of the cloud.
Yeah.
That's the bit we want to be flying towards. So stick and rudder together. That's it, level us off there, because a glider will always tend to overshoot.
That's it. Now, yeah.
That's it, there you go. So a little bit of nose down. You want to, that's it, about that much ground in view. And what you're trying not to do is, so you want about that much ground in view,
Okay.
and then the glider will catch up speed-wise. Okay?
Yes.
What you don't want to do is be stirring the stick.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
just be nice and smooth. So you're just leaning on the right rudder a little bit. That's it. There you go. Left stick, left rudder together. That's good. Nose down just a touch. There you go. That's pretty good. Keep us going straight ahead. Glider out to our right. Not a threat at the moment. That beacon is just letting us know that he's there. So just keep us coming under. A little bit to the right. That's it. A little bit to the right. That's it. Okay, you start to feel it. So we're going to execute a turn to the right if we find lift.
Let's see.
Not just yet.
It's getting closer now.
No, not just yet. Right, so there we go, round to the right we go.
We're not going up yet.
No, nothing is, it's just a bit weak there. So keep us coming round to the right. And then fly us back towards these dark clouds here. So level us off there, just go in a straight line along here, that's it.
There, yeah.
Yeah. Right, I have control of sec.
Okay. You have control.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to demonstrate something to you as we're at this height. So the reason why it's good to have speed and coordination is, let's just see if I can bring us back to the thermal.
What do you think one here?
Yes.
Or the fields?
I'm looking at, because we're at 3,000 feet, I'm actually looking at the clouds rather than the fields, because the thermal would have lifted off from a field
Oh, it's changed.
3 miles away, yeah, and drifted downwind.
Yeah.
So it's actually a
I
bubble.
think here.
Yeah, it could be. You just don't want to get too far downwind of the airfield.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Glider, 2 gliders
Two.
above us, right? That's it.
gently play with the rudder, right?
Yeah, just gently use the stick and rudder together. Just trying to find the best area of lift. It's like to be under here somewhere. Case of trying to feel where it is.
Yeah.
Keep us going around like this. Not a particularly strong one, but
it's going up.
yeah. The only thing you have to be mindful of is if it's not very strong, you don't want to be getting blown too far downwind.
Are we getting moved?
We are getting moved slowly away from the airfield, but
Where's the airfield now?
Out ahead of us, just there.
Yeah. Got it.
So we're at an altitude where we can easily get back to the airfield from here. So.
So calculating the vertical and horizontal move.
Yeah, that's exactly. Let's have a look along here.
Is it 500 feet out of there now?
Yeah, we go a little bit more than that.
It's pretty good.
So there's energy along here. There's another glider ahead of us. Look. See it?
No.
Just to about 1 o'clock now, just slightly high, moving away from us.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Shall I look under this cloud?
Yeah.
Yeah, something happening, yeah.
So you could literally fly up and down here.
It's good fun.
Yeah.
Why is it the darkest spots on the clouds?
That's where the condensation is the thickest. Yeah, that's it. Right, we're just going to fly back towards the airfield.
Oh no.
Just drifting a little bit far away.
Okay.
Have you ever felt quite a heavy storm?
Heavy storm?
Yeah.
No.
How are you with roller coasters?
Roller coasters?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Do you want to try and get back? As long as we get safely back.
Yeah, of course we will. So I'm just going to stall the glider quite heavily. So you'll get some negative G as the nose comes down.
Yeah.
With speed return 65 knots if you like within 70.
How was that, alright? Good stuff.
Does the plane always set itself right again? Or?
It will always try to fly, we call it in trim. So you see the lever on the right side there?
Yeah.
That's the trim lever. So if I want to fly at 50 knots, I find where 50 knots is.
Yeah.
And you'll get sometimes there's back pressure or forward pressure on the stick. So I just move that forward to remove the pressure on the stick. and the glider will try and fly itself in trim. There you go, my hands are off.
It's like an autopilot.
Yeah, so yeah, it's like a cruise control is the best way to describe it.
Nice, nice. That's why you said at the beginning neutral trim.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. We're just flying underneath the cloud.
A little bit of lift.
Just have a sniff there and see if it's...
Yeah.
It's a little bit. Now the risk is when we're turning like this and there's no aircraft below us, if we don't have proper attitude control, okay, and I get the glider too slow, what will happen is the glider will stall and it will actually drop a wing into a spin like that.
Yeah. Down the thing,
Yeah. And if we do that too close to the ground, you don't have enough altitude to recover. So that's why attitude control, when I was saying, you know, you want a bit more ground in view, you know, keep the speed, that's why it's important to you know, speed, brains and altitude. You must always have a combination of two. Right, so you have control. So fly us back towards the town at about 45 knots. You head, see that little wispy cloud in front of you?
Yes.
You head towards that, using the stick and rudder together. Anytime you move the aileron, you do the same rudder. That's it. That's it. Just nice and gentle, smooth movements. So you see this wispy cloud ahead of you, up above
this
us?
One or this one?
Above us. You see right above you, that one ahead?
Yeah.
That's it, fly towards that one. See how you've got the nose high?
Yeah.
We're about 38 knots, right? If I keep the nose there, watch what happens. The glider will stall, but it might not drop its nose. It goes into a stalled condition. You get the buffet. You feel a buffet?
Yeah.
Well, actually, see how the nose remains quite high?
Yeah, that's
the glider's fully stalled now, but the stick's all the way back. The elevator's not working.
Yeah.
You know, I have to ease forward on the stick, unstall the glider. You hear the buffet disappears.
Yeah.
Speed picks up, and then we recover.
That was too high to the nose.
Yeah, but it's a condition that can creep up on you. You know, you can be kind of flying along, nose high, speed gradually decays, and you notice you're moving the stick further and further back until the glider is actually stalled, but it doesn't drop the nose towards the ground.
So you have to correct very quickly.
Yeah. It always ease the stick forward, nose down, unstall the glider, pick up speed, and then reset your flying attitude. How you feeling, alright?
Yeah, very well.
Good stuff. Well, you're in control now. My feet and hands are off the controls, right? This is all you.
I'm in control.
Yep. So you see that string in the middle of the cockpit?
Yes.
You're trying to keep that down the middle. Yeah. So use stick and rudder. It will always point down towards the foot you should press. If you fly us over towards the town, always have a good look first before you initiate the turn. Start leveling us off just there. That's it. There you go, you got it. How you doing, alright? This is all you, man.
Oh God.
My hands are, when you see the video on YouTube, you'll see my hands and feet are off the controls. You're in a flight condition now. Nose a little bit down, we're a little bit slow. That's it, about there. Right stick, right rudder. That's it. Try and get that string in the middle. That's it. See, you're using the stick there without using any rudder. So you're swinging the nose around adverse yaw.
Got it.
So Right rudder, bring us level just there. So any time you use stick, use the same rudder. Otherwise, if you don't, the nose wanders around all over the place, and you get a really sloppy. You know, you got it. See more stick. Alright, so I have control then.
You have control.
Yeah. I'm just going to have a look round. We did a stall, so I'm just going to show you a steep turn. How was that?
You're very good at that.
I'm not allowed to do proper aerobatics with you, but that's all. We all call that 1G maneuver.
That's a shame.
It looks really cool, but actually we're just doing a normal steep 1G turn. Or the whole way through. It's only where we recover.
How many Gs can you experience on this?
This is rated to about 5 Gs. This glider, minus 2.7 plus 5. That was probably about 1.52 Gs there. Okay, so we're drifting down towards our circuit height now. So we're coming around this side. We're going to fly a right-hand circuit. There goes a glider up the winch slope, see him?
Yes.
There you go.
So we'll do a circle.
So we're going to get down to about 800-900 feet before we start the circuit.
Okay.
Typically you fly it to lift. So that glider's now off the winch and is circling to our left. So he was straight into a thermal by the look of it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, so about 900 feet. So we're going to execute a turn to the right. So if you take your hands and feet off the controls now, that's it. I'll fly this bit. Good man. So we've got no water. Undercarriage is down and locked. Your strap's still nice and secure?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So am I. No loose articles. Speed we want about 55 knots.
Yeah. Go down to 3.
That's it. Nothing coming outside the circuit.
Using the flaps.
Yeah, just using the air brakes just to
Slow us down a bit.
help the descent rate. We're just a little bit high, that's all. Coming around the other side. go.
This was perfect.
Right back where we started. How was that?
This was super cool.
And you did a whole bunch of the flying as well, then,
This
Peter.
for a while, I can tell you that.
Good man. Right, let's go again. Ready to go? Okay, so hands and feet nice and clear of the controls for me. See, it gets warm in here quite quick.
Yeah. Greenhouse, isn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Until you get moving.
Yeah.
Right, he's on the radio. Just waiting for the glider, the driver to get up to the winch.
Right, okay.
Is he there yet?
No, it's still got a bit.
That's right, we were cooking.
No, he's
I've released it.
released it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was cooking. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's not comfortable sitting in the glider on the ground for any length of time with the canopy shut if you're not moving.
I would imagine you get dehydrated very quickly.
You can do, yeah. Yeah. On long flights, we always take a lot of water with us.
Mm.
Okay, so canopy's coming down. It's closed, locked, resist up movement. Brakes are closed and locked, resist up movement. Cable on, please. Eventualities as discussed. Hoo-wee, tiger. Close. Cable is live. Yeah, so I start with the stick forward to keep the nose down while we pick up speed, and then allow it to rotate into the the climb. Here we go. There we go. So we'll have a wander over these batteries. Hang on a minute. Let's just see if that's thermal there. great weather today. So Northampton is off to our left.
Okay, yeah.
About 30 odd miles. So if you put your right hand on the stick gently, you can just follow me through the controls with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So you can see how gentle I'm being with the controls. I'm not doing any real serious movements with the controls at all. Keep following me through on the controls. Nice and relaxed. Right, I have control. If you take your hands off for me. Good man. See the lakes?
Yeah.
Nothing else is in the circuits. That wasn't how to land, overshot. We just come through an area of sink on the approach there, so it just saves dropping short of the airfield. I'll just put the brakes away and give us a little bit more speed. How was that, alright? Relatively straightforward, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Good stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah.